Welcome into Taco Bowler Gaming. My name is Taco Bowler. Today we're continuing our run playing as the Union in Grand Tactician, the Civil War. We're beginning here with the Battle of Carrollton in Carrollton, Arkansas, one of the major cities in northwest Arkansas in the game. And it's listed as a engagement there, but we already own the position, and it is an incredibly good defensive position. We are on top of a hill with a river at the bottom of the hill. So I'm kind of looking at this. I'm trying to figure out, do I want to try and guard the river crossings or just guard the defensive position of the hill and the victory point? And ultimately, I believe I decide to guard the hill, but I kind of am exploring options here, but I just figure that it's going to be too large of a line to guard against the river and all the places that they might cross. So I'm going to just guard the hill, but I do notice that I have 22 engineering points, so I am starting to build parapets. And so I'm going to try and put a parapet at the base of these hills. And try and guard that hill there. Yes, technically it's not on the heights or on the victory point, but it's okay. And here we are going to be building a bit of breastwork behind the main line. Over here, so we're just going to try and guard the main hill, and then we have both of our armies ready to go. And we're just going to set up some divisions on the parapets. They're actually reinforced parapets. They're level 2, so we're just setting up our divisions here like so, and then once again we will have a division in the reserve. That was the hope. I think we wound up with just 2 artilleries back there, but we hoped that the artillery would be up high enough on these hills that we could just rain down over the line. I don't think the hill was quite high enough for that, but the artillery is still going to do some good stuff, particularly trying to be behind those breastworks so they would be even protected themselves. But I don't think that actually ultimately worked out. We don't have a ton of line of sight, but we have enough. It's over on the left side, so that's good. And here we're going to take some of those reserve divisions and put them off on the flank. We're going to put them wide on the flank, because ultimately we're trying to guard the main line's flank, not really worrying about its own flank there with those divisions. And so here we go. And in this one, I decide to also employ some skirmishers, trying to learn a little bit from what the AI has been doing to me that I don't like, which is those skirmishers being there to kind of offset anything that you do, right? You're trying to run your brigades into their line, and those skirmishers are sitting there. There's my milk, my wonderful Broncos cup. But yeah, you try and run your line into their line, and those skirmishers are sitting there, and there's only 200 of them, and so you're not doing much damage to them, but maybe we can do that. Maybe they can damage us or something like that. So I decided to build some breastwork on the flank guarders, just so that they're even better off, and just to have them doing something here. So they're constructing, and we wait, and oh, there's the enemy already. So I decided ultimately not to do anything too worrisome. But we do have the artillery is able to fire, so that's good. And they're going to open fire. There's not much that can go here, so I decided to give up on the breastwork construction. At least have one army that's hitting there. But yeah, so the cavalry charged in, but the cavalry charge ends in our skirmishers. They didn't get all the way to our main line. And here we're able to put one of those skirmishers back out. And we've kind of stopped their charge. The skirmishers worked. It's very, very good. One of the things you can see there, the reinforced parapet has a bit of breastwork inside it. So you're sitting behind that. That's also behind the earthenwork. So that's very, very good. And Now we forced the cavalry to back up. I don't think they actually routed per se, but they did back up. And here we're going to put the skirmishers right back out there. And they're fresh, by the way. Those skirmishers are a completely fresh unit in terms of morale, in terms of losses, in terms of all of that stuff when you re-put them out. So that's good stuff. And we're just trying to set up those flanks, and here we have skirmishers set up against that flank because they are coming in from that left side. So we're going to do that, and here we're putting the skirmishers up, trying to get to the artillery that had just come in. So now, we're a little worried about that, but skirmisher, when the skirmishers go, then that is all. All it does, and that route doesn't continue. It doesn't continue to affect your losses here. But here they come. We know that the charge is on its way. We also at this point can confirm they're not going to be doing anything on my right. So I'm going to bring a division over there and try and bring those skirmishers up to just slow them down. And that seems to be working really, really well. I do like that Lee is now in charge of at least a brigade. So hopefully, there's several Lees on the Confederate side, but hopefully they don't have Robert E. Lee, doing that. But here their charge is stopped by the skirmishers. We're able to bring the full brigades into position without the charge affecting things. The skirmishers were really, really important in this battle. Really important. But yeah, here they're stopped, and it's now gotten into a firefight where most of our units are behind a parapet. And we have artillery barrage behind it. So we're getting some of their skirmishers to be taken out. But these two units, as long as they can hold long enough, right, for the other division to come from the right, we can kind of just have an extended line on it. They just have to hold long enough that we can avoid being flanked in the parapet. And I believe they are successful at that. But here we've driven off another one of their units is routed. And we're just pushing through. Now we're going to try and spread that division out. Here now we finally have one of our units route out of the parapet. I suspect it was flanked or charged or something like that. But we have finally lost one in the parapet. But we have some skirmishers still just trying to wreak havoc behind their lines. And here's the end of day. And so now we have a new deployment, and that means we have new stuff we can do. So there is a parapet, and we have enough to put the left ones to level 3 parapet, which puts those little stakes in the ground out in front, which is very, very nice. I can put a relatively fresh unit off to the left to guard the end of the flank. But we have that there, and then we put some artillery to just rain fire if they decide to try and charge in. We don't want to mess with that. So there we go. And as you can see right now, we're about even in casualties. And that should change with that. One of the things that I noticed in this battle, I think it was, is that we want to make sure that if we have those level 3 parapets, that the units we have in said parapet have weapons that can get past the little spikes in the ground. Because if we're going to stop the enemy there and keep them from charging in, then we need to be able to actually get them there. I think mixed muskets don't get out that far. That kind of creates an issue a little bit. Here we do have some skirmishers left on my right, so I'm just trying to push these cannons out, and then I'm going to bring them back to try and attack some of these units here, some of these divisions and brigades. I'm kind of trapped. I want to get that, but the cavalry continues to affect me, and there that one goes. But at this point, I'm trying to keep everyone in the parapet because they have been rushing at me, and we are winning. There's no reason to change the strategy at this point. We've driven off their entire right, but they're reforming on the left and my middle. So my right and my middle, and they're going to try and come again. Oh, there's their right again. So at this point, we're just trying to figure out, how do I get them to charge? How do I get them to move? We've been trying to build the breastwork that's still out there over the flank. But as they prepare to attack, we're getting ready for that, and some of their guns are beginning to falter. And I think that once their artillery is gone, that's when they're going to have to charge, have to make a move somewhere. Really, there's no reason for them to still be here, frankly. But I'm going to pull some skirmishers out and try and get them to do something against us, and maybe chase those skirmishers into the trap, into the mouth of the beast. But here we do at least get their artillery to move way too close and eventually lose their cohesion and just give up. And here we go. Here's some actual movement, some actual charging in, close enough that we're able to score some big hits on them. And I decided to go ahead and leave that skirmisher there, since the home unit is off on the side. And here, at some point, I'm going to notice that my artillery that's off on my left is attacking that skirmisher detachment. And so therefore not really doing any damage, because the skirmishers are already spread out that they don't really do any damage. And I will eventually tell them to actually target the main brigade, at least, to do something here. Here's where I think I do that. So yeah, hey, target the main brigade where you can actually do some damage. And then it promptly disappears. Is what it is. But we're just kind of checking in constantly there, and I figure I must have captured or something, because I think the casualties are now way in my favor, but it may just simply be the defensive positioning. One thing that begins to take form here is that we have a lot of places and opportunity to build great defensive positioning, and you can see here checking the casualties, where those two are hitting 2-to-1 because they're charging into that parapet. So the AI is supposed to be a little bit better, but there's not a ton you can do here. Really, the best thing to do here would have been to withdraw, but they can't really do that. They're trying to defend their home territory. You can't withdraw forever either, so just constantly outmaneuver. That's the goal. So here I'm trying to go up and grab some of the cannons that they have abandoned, as their right did finally completely fall, which is good. This also lets us have some weapons that we can essentially turn on their remaining forces that are holding out. They're holding out and insisting on still being here. You can see how many notifications I'm getting that some of them have retreated. But here, yeah, I'm just turning their own guns on them, trying to. I won't get too many to successfully get out here with their detachments, but we at least turn some. But I see that Quarrels there is threatening, so I pull it back, and we're nearing the end of the day, and that'll be the end of the battle. But I think it was fantastic for us. Nearly 3-to-1 casualties, so I'll take it.
Grand victory at Carrollton. It has ended with the Army of Arkansas retreating in panic, and the enemy has 4,435 casualties. We had 1,581, which was wonderful. Before we unpause, I should note that today is the first episode being recorded after 1.09 dropped, and this patch supposedly made the AI smarter. We'll see. But what I do like is that it adds this little thing here. The readiness is shown on this, so I don't have to zoom in anymore. And so, are they ready? What's up? Nope, it's all shown right there, which I do absolutely love. I wish the Department of Pennsylvania was going faster, but I do like this change. So let me make sure that the Army of Missouri is moving where it's supposed to be. It is. Good. Now, are you guys still moving? No. No, they're not. So let's start with that. We've had some issues with them deciding whether or not they needed to move. And I am beginning to wonder if we should break from Memphis on the northern route instead of down Little Rock. We'll hang out for a couple of days with them. Make that happen. And we have a ton of Confederate armies just surrounding us here. None of which should be overly large. And we should be able to reinforce each other. Okay. Except that the Army of Vermont is not doing great. Their morale is confident. We shall see. I am noticing, though, that the Army of the Potomac is right here. Meaning they're not here. Okay. Yeah, the Army's on the way. I want the Department of Pennsylvania to go to here. They're the only ones that can stop in the way. That supply depot is already built. So we're good to go. I'm kind of worried about the current rating, but we should, fingers crossed, be better. Alright. And I do know that we have a lot of volunteers, but without the credit rating, I don't really want to build more troops. Keep expecting the Confederates to tell me that they've lost all stuff. Right, so I think we're waiting for the Department of Michigan to have something, but we have supply issues with pretty much everybody, I think. Massive supply issues with everybody. How it goes. Let's actually click the upgrade weapons button since we have captured a ton of things here. So we don't want the west first. We want the east first. Then Pennsylvania. Then Ohio. Now the west. And we don't have enough muskets for that, but that's expected. The enemy Hampton Division has withdrawn and is attempting to regroup. Good. That's one of them. They're definitely trying to come in. Alright. Because there's so many reinforcements coming after this, I feel I need to play this one, beat them back, and then we'll have the next one as they run their troops into Richmond.
And so here we go. Pretty quickly, we have now the Battle of Richmond, just 2 days later from the start of the episode. And it looks like we're going to have a very similar situation. We already own the point. We outnumber them already with reinforcements, I believe, coming in. So it's just a matter of taking them out. So here I notice that we have another great defensive positioning. We're up on a hill. The river is closer to the victory point here. So at this point, I'm just going to try and put some parapets out. This takes a little bit of time to figure out. But I'm just going to try and put some parapets out and try and take the great defensive earthwork around the river, which is already a defensive cover in the game. Just try and get some really great cover and try and just create a small little fortress around this victory point here, atop this hill. You'll notice that it does take some time, and eventually I'm going to have to piecemeal this part together just to get it to go. Come on. You see that? I'm like, come on. And there we have a little bit. Okay, well, here's a little bit more. And then finally we can, yes, there we go. And then, so I worry about being a little bit too close to the top of the hill and if that affects the cannons in any way, shape, or form. But we'll kind of just figure it out as we go along that front. And here I'm going to try and get out there. There is a bit of a fence line behind me there. Ultimately, can I get across this little vineyard? It looks like I do finally figure that one out. And so this is my defensive positioning, and then I try and upgrade, because you'll notice that with this many units in the Army of Richmond, I have a ton of points, but I struggle to figure out how to get this upgrade key to actually go. We're able to upgrade everything except these ones in the orchard. So, kind of a little bit weird. And then, I can't, it's almost like it changes things. So I can get that upgraded, but just can't get over there to upgrade any of those. So, oh well. Just can't make it work. And so ultimately we just decide to upgrade further, and then you kind of see that the river plays with that a little bit, that I can't really upgrade with the river there. And you see the little almost lake in front of me. It probably didn't need defensive positioning on that lake there. But we get what we can built up. We use up all of our engineering points, and then we get set up. We've got the breastworks behind for all the cannons in most of the places. And then originally I'm going to set up with my army, kind of the divisions kind of held together in certain points of it. And then I'm like, wait a minute. If we stretch ourselves out, we can probably cover the entire line. And so ultimately that's what I decide I wish to do. And so with no reserves, we just cover the entire line because it is going to be a few hours before the rest of the army shows up. I'd make a note at one point to myself that this is the Army of Vermont, having to wait on the rest of the Army of the East, and how does it feel? Because I still have a bit of a grudge. But 11 hours, can we just hold for 11 hours? That's what we're going to be focused on and trying to do. So looks like it's going to be a very, very similar battle. You can see the coverage that I have. You can also see how much my computer is lagging wanting to zoom in and get to the graphics. But you can see the coverage that I have with the defensive positioning. I'm very, very happy with this defensive positioning. Not really sure where they're going to come from, but they should come down somewhere in there. Somewhere toward that river. There's several roads that are leading down that way, so hopefully there, as well as the town in the map is off to the left of my position here. So we're just going to try and hold them out. What I don't anticipate is what happened. So you need to watch. If you see there on the right side where it says Walnut Grove Church, that's where you need to watch, because that's the road they decided to come down, which, really does surprise me. So that's one of the things that they've said in this new patch. I build some skirmishers out again, send some skirmishers out. That's good. Here they come down that road, which really did surprise me that they were coming down that road. And here you see a second unit. That kind of solidifies to me that, oh, they're coming down that road. So here I'm going to try and move things around and just try and guard as quick as we can. But they charge in. And they get behind me. You can see that they're already back there. Some of these units are behind. They've gone around. And even though they shatter, they've also destroyed the defensive cohesion that we had. And they actually cause some of my units to rout. And so we have some massive problems there. We have one unit that's already surrendered. I don't know currently if that was theirs. Okay, it was theirs, but it wasn't very much. It was like a cavalry unit or something like that. So here we've got all these units that are threatening of having a cavalry charge into their back. So they've got to turn around and attack that cavalry unit. It will eventually, I think, surrender, but at the very least get routed. But it slows down everything. And as we try and reinforce our now new line that doesn't have any of the defensive positioning that I had hoped to have, and just try to hold out because, 11 hours, right? We had 11 hours. Not very much. We had 11 hours. And kind of recognizing that this is going to be the battle. It's going to be this army. And lots of people are losing lots of things. Already we have a cavalry regiment that's behind us all. And here is one of our units has surrendered. So this becomes an extremely bloody fight extremely quickly. We're moving everyone up here that we can, but it's just continually there. So another enemy regiment has surrendered. Lots of that happening. And at this point, we're just trying to hold out as long as we can and trying to get into some kind of a good positioning. Probably should have tried to fall back to the breastworks. Just lost whatever needed to be lost, even if we lost an entire division that was up there, just fall back to the breastworks. But, we'll see. Another enemy brigade. That one I think was at least sizable in number. But here you can see that we have several units here that are of ours that are losing a lot of men. Churchill will eventually surrender, if I'm remembering correctly, if that wasn't the notification that he surrendered right there. And I know that because I later got him exchanged in a prisoner of war. But here we finally see that they are retreating. It was a pretty significant fight and a very quick fight. Good strategy by them ultimately, but ultimately one that we were able to counter, and we won the day. Good job, Army of Vermont. You're not completely useless.
Victory at Richmond. The Army of the Peninsula was the one to attack. They were fleeing in panic. General Churchill should lose face at what he did. But, the enemy has 1,667 captured. We had 1,391 missing. It was a very interesting battle on that front. But we do have supply issues that are better. So I like that. Alright, there's an Army of the Valley. That's got quite a few men. You just hang out here. Alright, they're still not okay. They're even worse now. For some reason I can't move. Alright, I gotta figure out what's going on here. What do we want to do? Something's got to change here. All right. They're completely cut off from supply. But collectively, they're at 24,000. The enemy's at 24,000. All right. Okay, go to Kentucky. Want you there. Next to the supply depot. Alright, so that knocked both of these guys down. Which is good. Good news for me. How did this go? Well, there we go. Hopefully, we can get that to work. Love to take that fort. Okay, well, not an episode that moved the time very long, but when we had a bunch of good things happen, at least. Just checking this out. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. And call that one good. I've been Tuckable Gaming. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.